Today we're going to show you how to replace a photocell in the 1990 to 1996 Digital Information Center. The photocell is located behind this window and it's not difficult to change. The first step, we'll need a Torx 15 screwdriver. First, we'll remove 4 screws here, 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 and here. Okay, and we'll remove the metal frame and set it aside. Next, we'll gently lift this connector away from the board. And finally, we'll remove the 5th Torx screw on the back side. Next, we'll lift the switch section away from the housing. Using a small Phillips screwdriver, we'll remove the 6 screws which hold on the back. After we remove the 6 screws, we'll lift away the PC board from the switch assembly. You see the photocell that we're going to replace is right here.
Recording.
Okay. Here we see the photocell and the board that the photocell is mounted on. That board is held in place by plastic clips which will slide gently to the side to release the board. Next, we'll pull the board away and maneuver the wire away from this clip to give ourselves room to work. Next, we'll use some desoldering braid. This is available from Radio Shack, and a soldering iron to remove the old solder. We'll place the soldering braid above the solder to be removed. We'll heat the back side of the soldering braid, and the old solder will be drawn up into the braid. We'll do the same thing with the other side. Just keep moving to a fresh area of the solder braid until it absorbs all of the solder.
Recording.
Okay. After the solder's been removed, we can lift the photocell away from the board. There's a small amount of glue inside the photocell housing which we'll need to remove in order to remove the photocell. I'm going to use an X-Acto knife. Since I'm working near my fingers, I'm going to be very careful. And I'm just going to scrape that glue away from the inside of the housing. You might have to make several passes. Next, we will push the photocell out of the housing and set it aside. And to clean up, we'll go ahead and scrape any glue residue that's left inside the housing to make sure the new photocell fits. To replace the photocell, we're going to use the 1990 to 1996 Photocell Repair Kit, available at batty.com. It includes a photocell and a supply of solder to complete the repairs. We'll take the photocell included in the kit. We'll insert it into the photocell housing with 1 lead through each hole. It should look like that when you're done. The photocell in the housing should look like this when you're done. We'll take 1 lead of the photocell and put it through each of the holes in the board. It does not matter which lead goes through which hole. It is not polarized. It's just a resistor. Next, we'll bend the leads to keep the photocell in place. And here's how that looks from the back side. We'll take the supplied solder. And a hot soldering iron, and we'll solder each of those connections in place. To make a good connection, we'll apply heat to both the wire and the pad at the same time. We'll apply a small amount of solder, and then we'll remove the source of heat. Next, we'll trim the leads to length using a set of wire cutters. To reattach the photocell to the housing, we'll route the photocell leads through this plastic clip and then snap it in place. Snap it in place gently. Next, we'll replace the photocell housing onto the back of the switch assembly, and we'll reinstall the 6 screws which hold it in place. Next, we'll replace the switch assembly into the digital information center. We'll make sure to get this index pin lined up properly. Then we'll replace the metal frame, and we'll reinstall the 4 screws which hold it in place using our Torx 15 screwdriver. We will gently replace the 5-pin connector, and finally we'll reinstall the 5th Torx screw on the back side of the housing. That completes the process of replacing the photocell in a 1990 to 1996 Corvette Digital Instrument Center.